Okay, 1 moment, we are getting ready.
Yes, sir.
Waiting for notification. Usually my sister jumps on and says something. All right, here we go. And we are live. Excellent, sir. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedule for a special edition of Off the Record this evening. We have Student Minister how do you pronounce your name, sir? Is it Abdullah or Abdullah? Abdullah Muhammad?
Okay, it depends on what neighborhood you're in. If you're around Muslims from the east,
Yes,
it's
sir.
Abdullah. If good is Abdullah. Congo drums in the back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, excellent. Walaikum salam, baby. Okay, the first question I want to know is, sir, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I was in the Cook County Jail. Only thing I can't remember if this was 79 or 80. Well, I know I was in the county jail in 80, but I can't remember when I first got locked up. But it was in the Cook County Jail. I ran into an inmate named Leotis X. Beasley. And he was the only representative of Minister Min Farrakhan in the county jail.
Yes, sir.
And he had the only message to the black man that was in the county jail. And the only way you could read it was to come to his cell after dinner for study group. And well, I should just tell you how it actually happened. I came on the deck with an attitude that I wasn't joining nothing, I wasn't following nobody, and I wasn't waiting until they approached me. I came on the deck looking for who the leader is. When I looked in Brother Leotis' eyes, out of all of the men's eyes that I looked in, when I looked in Brother Leotis' eyes, he had a look that I had never seen in a man's eyes before. I said, "Oh, okay then. So you must be the chief, the shot caller."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll be sitting down next to you soon as they knock these bars down. So they opened up the bars. I went in and sat down next to Brother Leotis, and with what I had in my mind, and he looked at me and then turned back to the three brothers that were sitting next to him on the bench in the day room. Everybody was watching TV. And Brother Leotis started speaking on from the book of Revelations and saying, according to the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, what denomination of faith the next president should be. And the more he talked, the more I said, within myself, man, I ain't know nobody talk like that. That's the way I thought. Man, I'm with this dude. I'm with this dude. So I didn't join him in silence, just listening to him. And then when you heard this loud, this metal on metal, like a combination of metal and thunder, like boom, 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 boom. Everybody stood up, and I stood up too. And it was time to lock up. And Brother Leotis looked at me and he said, "What would you do if God walked up to you right now, brother?" I said, "I wouldn't do nothing." He said, "Wouldn't you be scared?" I said, "No, sir." I said, I wouldn't be afraid because God know I ain't did nothing but what I had to do to survive. You think, and I said, plus God wouldn't let me know it was him unless he had a good reason. And he said, "Brother, can you believe God is a man?" And I told him I ain't got no problem with that. Because in my mind, I'm still thinking like somebody from the street. In my mind, I'm saying, I ain't got no problem with God being a man because you're going to find out which one he is as soon as you try to get me to do something I don't want to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, that's when I attended he said, look down this corridor, the last cell on the left. The next time you hear that sound, it'll be dinner time. And after dinner, we study Message to the Black Man. Will you come back and study with us? And I said, yes, sir. And I went back there, and the first section that they was on was, now I got nervous, I'm forgetting the title. But anyway, it was the section with elevate and protect and respect the Black woman, and all the way through birth control is a death plan. That was my first lesson.
Okay, excellent. Thank you all, and thank you all for watching. Walaikum salam, Mimi. Walaikum salam, Naima, and peace, Brother Janelle. The next question is, what was it like when you met the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for the first time?
That's a funny one to me, brother.
Yes, sir.
That's a funny one to me, man, because the number one, we only had one message to the Black man in the jail. Then after a considerable amount of time, we got one audio cassette tape. It was cassette tapes then. And we got one audio cassette tape, and the minister was teaching and one in the Hypocrite. I think he was teaching in Detroit. And at the end of the speech, he said, "Come home, Black man. Come home to yourself." You know, in that rhythm that he got, right?
Yes, sir.
I jumped up in the cell. I said, "Man, he talking to me. He talking to me." They said, "Man, sit down, man." I said, "Damn, he talking to me, right?" And
Yes,
this point seemed like it filled up the whole universe, man. I'm talking about, man, I couldn't hear nothing but Farrakhan, man, like I was sitting out in space alone, you know?
Yes, sir.
And so when I got released, Brother Leotis and the Supreme Captain Theron at that time, they already knew me through Brother Leotis and the Supreme Captain Theron. And allowed Leotis to call him and to share the phone call with me. So that's how the minister knew me. So when I got out, Brother Theron assigned me security outside the minister's house. Right after the minister got finished speaking, on the way, he said, "Well, you'll be on security outside the minister's house tonight." So I'm standing outside, and they pull up, and Minister Farrakhan gets out, and he says, as he's passing me, he says, "This is the brother. This is the brother." And I'm looking at Minister Farrakhan, and I'm saying to myself, man, the way he sounded to me, man, he got it. Man, I could have swore he would be 6'6" and blacker than me, like Shaka Zulu or somebody. I can't see this little light-skinned dude is Farrakhan, right? I was just looking at him in amazement, you know, because I was expecting a different image.
Yes, sir.
So that was my first time seeing him. The first time I met him was in Reverend Al Sampson's church here in Chicago. We didn't have a meeting place for the Nation of Islam, and Reverend Al Sampson gave Minister Farrakhan the keys to his church so that we could have FOI class in his basement. So in my first FOI class, that's when I first met Minister Farrakhan. And he had said something, and I was clapping real strong and hard, and he started clapping to my rhythm, the rhythm that I was clapping to, and looking at me while he was clapping. And after the meeting, I came up to him, and he said that, Allah allowed you to go to prison, brother, because to study men. He said, because you got work to do with men. But at that time, I didn't know I was going to become his prison minister. That was my first meeting, sometime in November 1980, because I came home on my mother's birthday, November 10th, 1980.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your sacrifice, sir. And thank everyone again for watching as well. I want to just make a quick note that this podcast is sponsored by my sister Miriam's book, ABC I Love Me. Please get that on Amazon. Also, my brother and his video editing crew with Jamal Street Premiere. Brother Minister, when you mentioned Brother Theron, what was it like working under him? For people who may not know who that was, the first Supreme Captain under the rebuilding, what was it like working with Brother Theron?
I don't really think I should say what I'm thinking, but he was a disciplinarian and a warrior. a defender of Minister Farrakhan. And we had hard FOI training where if it was 20 of us in a horse stance in a circle, all of the short men went first, and we took 4 punches in the gut in a horse stance, and the biggest men were last. When Brother Theron was the kind of supreme captain that would tell you on the front door post, you down this post, and he'd take a big, thick rope and wrap it around your arm and have you strapped to the door. And I say this, the meaning of the FOI, the fruit of the book, Minister Farrakhan's message, the meaning of the FOI, that was the message Minister Farrakhan delivered to the FOI and relieved Brother Theron of his post as the supreme captain. That's all I want to say on that. I like the brother. He's a real character to me, man. You know, the kind that you like to imitate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excellent. Speaking of the early days, I posted on the flyer you doing security for the Most Honorable Minister Farrakhan at Malcolm X College. During those days, were you ever afraid for your life, and did you ever receive death threats? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
Joshua, would you ask me that over again? I didn't hear the first part.
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear it clear.
Yes, sir. When you were in the early days of you doing security for the minister, did you ever have a fear for your life or receive death threats? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
No, I never. I'm basically born fearless. I never even thought about nobody threatening my life while I secured Minister Farrakhan. The only time I feel any inkling of fear, to be honest, is if I ain't been praying the way I'm supposed to do as regular as I'm supposed to pray.
Yes, sir.
And if I feel something, that's how I know, hey, man, you better get back on it. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
I've been taken off the street by police, handcuffed behind my back, beat across the head, punched in the forehead with the tip of the barrel of their gun. And I thought that I was talking within myself to God. That's what I thought I was doing, but I didn't know I was talking out loud. And you know, I can't put the spirit in which I said it, nor can I use all of the words that I really use. But when I thought I was talking inside myself, I said to God, I said, man, I can't believe that you would allow me to die like this. I just can't believe you allow me to die like this, handcuffed behind my back, can't deliver a blow in defense of my life. If you would let me die like this, I would have killed my MF itself. And the police screamed out, ah, this nigga ain't scared. This nigga ain't scared. And damn near lost control of the car, man. And when they drove up in the back of, we have Savior's Day here now at McCormick Place, but at one time during my lifetime, it was burned down, and the police took me back there to kill me and told me, well, we hope you could swim, because if you can't, you'll be another missing nigga tonight. And so they took me back there, but it was some people back there in their car for their purpose. And so they had to crack me across the head, drag me out the car, spray mace in my face, kick me, and take the cuffs off of me. And that's how I survived that. But if I was afraid, that was the time to be afraid. But that was the time Allah manifest to me that I was not afraid. So no, I never had any fear in me. And actually, I ain't ever had no fear on security, not even for the minister. And plus, I was a defender. You know, I took care of some physical business on people that harassed him at his personal house. And before I left jail, I came in. We didn't have videos and final calls, so the gangs at that time, they attacked me. And I mean, well, they was really attacking Brother Leotis, but I fought with them. And one of us, named Ed, that used to be a member of the gangs that was fighting us, had joined the study group. Ed got stabbed, but me and Brother Leotis, we was able to fight and not get injured. So fear haven't been a part of my life, except for when I realized I was outside and it was pitch black in Africa, and I realized they got lions and stuff. So I remember rushing back in the house at that point. So basically, no, I love Minister Farrakhan. I love all of the brothers in the nation and sisters in the nation. I just know my love never allowed fear to come up in me.
Excellent. Praise be to Allah. Now, also, the Brother Leotis that you keep referencing, is he the Brother Leotis that the trucks were named after when they said like the Leotis fleet? Is that the same Leotis or is that a different Leotis?
No, that's the same Brother Leotis, and that's what he used to say almost every day in the county jail. And when he get out, he want to set up a truck route to deliver final calls for the Nation of Islam. And when he came home, he was successful in becoming one of the drivers that delivered the final call papers. And Minister Farrakhan chose to name, he purchased, my memory was 10, but somebody else told me it was 9. But at any rate, Minister Farrakhan paid cash for 9 or 10 Peterbilt 18-wheeler trucks and named them the Leotis fleet after Brother Leotis.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Excellent. Now, my next question is, someone told me that you were a drill instructor and they used to drill in the early days. Is that true?
Yes, sir. Actually, I created the drill steps for the drill team here in Chicago. And once again, my memory is failing me, but I think it was in 1989. And I was the drill instructor for the drill team here at Mosque number 2 that won the drill championship for the first time here in Chicago.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, excellent. That means a lot. Okay, yes, I didn't know that. Wonderful. Yes, sir. What was it like serving with the Supreme Captain, Brother Ali, who was Brother Frank at the time? What was it like serving under him during that time period?
Well, Brother Ali was just a intelligent, calm, cool brother under all circumstances. He didn't get excited and ruffled up. And he seemed to be able to think clearly regardless of what was going on. He was just a pleasant brother to work with. I respected him, as I do all of my superior officers. I respect all of them, and if I can't help them, I just be quiet. But I haven't met one that I didn't want to help. So Brother Ali, I loved him, still love him till this day.
Wonderful. Praise be to Allah. What was it like during the climate of the Million Man March as far as being in Chicago? What was that like?
Wow. This is the first question you asked me where I drew a blank. I know I was busy and involved. I know I was busy and involved, but I can't remember.
Yes, sir.
I can't remember an instance right now, Brother Joshua, so y'all got to forgive me on that one.
Yes, sir. Don't worry about it. On that note, I want to show everyone this is my children's book, Cleopatra. This is on Amazon. You can get this.
Hold it up a little higher for me.
Oh, yes, sir. Can you see it? Yes, sir. This is my.
Yes, sir. I can hear it now. I mean, I can see it now.
Excellent. Yes, sir. That's my children's book. Please get that for those who are watching. Also, what was it like working with the former Supreme Captain, Student Minister Sharif? What was it like working under him?
quick moving, fast thinking, right down to the modern time on the drive. Hey, dressing good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How did you become a student in the ministry in the prison? Like, what was the actual? How did you become a prison minister?
Well, maybe if I'm wrong, then maybe your father could give you the actual facts. But I used to sell fruit on the corner here in Chicago. I had a route, and that's how I supported my family and paid my children's tuition to go to MUI. And so I came home after going to the market. When I finished selling fruit, I would go to the market and then I would bring the fruit home. And as I was passing the National House, I saw all of the brothers outside. And I asked them where they were going, and they said to the county jail. So I hollered out, man, ask the minister, ask the Supreme Captain and them, don't leave me, tell them don't leave me. So I drove home real fast. I changed clothes, and I came back, and they were gone. So I asked which route they took. They told me which route they took. So when I arrived at the county jail, I arrived in time for the minister to get out, and him and the entourage going in, and I just fell in with them. So some kind of way I was assigned to stand outside the door of the director's office on security in the jail. So the door opened up, and I believe it was your father, brother Abdul Sharif, and I think he was the Supreme Captain then. And he said, Minister Farrakhan want to see you. And in my mind, I'm thinking the minister must want some water or somebody he trusts to go get something for him. You know, he don't trust these people in the county jail, right?
Yes, sir.
So I walked in the office with that kind of mindset, and he said, have a seat, brother, and patted the seat to his left. And before my behind hit the seat, he turned to the director and he said, this will be the brother that's in charge of the Nation of Islam's prison reform ministry, because he loved his people and he won't turn back on them. That's how I got on this post.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. And I wanted to thank you, sir. And on behalf of myself and my family, thank your wife and thank your children for their sacrifice as well, sir. We want to thank you all as a family.
Sir.
Yes, sir. What was it like serving with Dr. Khalid when he was the Supreme Captain?
That's another character, man, the kind that I love to imitate. He was a soldier, man. He was the kind of soldier that took his men out into the field. He ran the stairs with you, sat on the curb with the people. You know, me and him had clashes. You know, I feel the kind of clashes that brothers in the same family have, you know, because he would do things like, I'm having drill practice on the first floor of the final call. He would be leaning over the bounder on the third floor, pointing out how they heads ain't snapping at the same time. They not doing this, they not doing that. And I asked him, am I the DI? He said, yeah. So I would say, like, I ain't working on heads right now. I'm working on feet and rhythm. And he would want to check me after class, right? So one time we almost got into it because I was drilling the men in front of the high-rise projects on State Street here in Chicago. They used to run from 51st all the way to 55th. I think we was on the 51st Street high rises. But anyway, we was at the high-rise projects, and I was calling the cadence, and the people was on the porches, on the banisters, leaning out the windows, and I had on an apple cap. And Brother Khaled, he came and told me, take that apple cap off. See, I hate that cap. You remind me of my father. And so I took the cap off, right? I took the cap off. So when we was going back to the building, I was driving and Brother Khaled was sitting in the passenger seat up front. So I say, Brother Khaled, what time you taking me shopping? And so he said, hey, shopping? What? What do you mean shopping? I said, where I come from, when you tell a man how to dress, that make him your B word. So what time you taking me shopping, man? He went dead silent, didn't say nothing until we got back to the county jail. I mean, back to the final call. And then that's when he came up on me. Abdullah, why? Why you always embarrassing me in front of the men? It's like, I told him I wasn't embarrassing you. I was just being real with you, man. You know, like we had them kind of run-ins, you know. But I love the brother and he loved the people. I put it like this: I say that his actions showed that he loved and cared about the people. I say it that way.
Excellent. Yes, sir. My next question is your name. Where did you get your name and what was how did that come about?
I came to the final call building very early in the morning because I was the one that set up shipping and receiving under Mother Khadijah at the final call building. All the shipping and receiving and stuff they doing now, I was at the root of that. As a result of me helping Mother Khadijah at the minister's personal house where the shipping and receiving was being done. She chose me to be the regular volunteer. And then when we moved to the final call, I was still doing shipping and receiving. And so I came to the building real early one morning. And so I came in the back door on the side of the rear of the final call. And so it's a rostrum and a platform in there where the minister delivers his messages from on the first floor. And I flung the door open and was looking right in the face of Minister Farrakhan that was having a meeting and people sitting all around the table. And I got scared and ran upstairs to the third floor. And when I ran upstairs to the third floor, I forget this imam's name, but he was up on the third floor. I guess he was waiting on his meeting. So I decided I'd stay up there with him because I don't want the minister to think I'm a spy. I'm spying on people. You know what I mean? Because like, how else do you explain being here this early, right? Yes, sir. And on the day that he meeting with people, right? So I sat up there with him. The meeting was over. Minister Farrakhan and our brother Salim, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, with him, was flanking Minister Farrakhan, and his daughter, Sister Donna, was there. And so when he saw me and Sister Donna, he said, wow, you could tell those praying people. You can tell those praying people. He said, brother, what's your name? Of course, he already knew my name. He said, brother, what's your name? And I told him my name at that time was Rodney. And I said, my name is Rodney. He said, oh, no, brother, I got a better name for you than that. Your name is Abdullah Muhammad. So that's how I got my name. And then later on, I was on security at the front door of the final call. And the minister came down to go out. And he stopped when I opened the door, he stopped and looked me right in the face. And he said, you know, I gave you my name, brother. And then he left. So that's how I got my name.
Praise be to Allah. And it's a great
story. Yeah, Brother Khaled, he used to go, man, you got Allah's name and the Prophet's name.
Okay. What has been your greatest trial so far in your service in the nation, sir? And how did you overcome that?
Wow, my greatest trial. You got me again, Josh. I can't come up. I can't come up with. I think I'm still under trial, man.
Yes, sir. Well, what has been your greatest joy, sir? What has been your greatest joy?
Brother Leota's introducing me to the message to the black man, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and eventually Minister Farrakhan.
Praise
My
be.
greatest joy, man. Matter of fact, he told me that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we should fast 3 days, 7 days, 9 days, 21 days. And so I said, I'm fasting 9 days. And he said, well, you just started. Why would you want to fast 9 days? I said, cause I want to go home, beat my case, and I go back to court in 9 days.
That makes sense. Yes, sir.
So that was my greatest joy. First, accepting the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And what way, Brother Leotis, he wasn't the kind of teacher that called himself teaching you anything. He would have you read what was in Message to the Black Man. Then he would stop after you read a paragraph or two and ask you what you thought about what you read, and then you would answer, and then he would move on. The one thing that he did teach me was about the rise and fall of the Nation of Islam, and then the resurrection of the Nation of Islam, never to fall again. He said that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. And he never, in other words, he wasn't the kind of teacher that had put any kind of doubt in my mind. So I believe Elijah Muhammad is physically alive ever since I heard it. I never have had a doubt about it.
Wow. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Wonderful. Do you have any people that you have taught in prison? Have they had any success stories once they got out of prison? Did any of them ever join the nation?
Well, the first person you made me think about is, everybody should know him by now, is Student Minister Troy over Mosque Number 1 in Detroit. I served him both times he went to prison. He went to prison and got out. Then when he got out, somebody broke in his house and stole his TVs and stuff. And of course, he picked up them things and controlling the hood, ran stuff back and got busted again and went away again for I think it was 6 more years. So brother Student Minister Troy, brother to Darrow with everlasting spring water, and now he got car washes and things. It's more than I feel like everybody should know them.
Yes, sir.
Brother Gregory X Moore, he home after doing 35 years. I think he's home 5 years now, and he's the Delaware Valley Student Regional Prison Reform Minister, and he writes articles for the Prison Reform page in the Final Call. A brother named Carl 3X, he only been home 15 months, and him and his wife started a trucking business already in 15 months. So it's many others, and I apologize if anybody hear this and I didn't mention your name. That's all I could think of right now.
No, man, wonderful. And thank you, sir. I didn't know that. I want to thank everyone who's watching. Your daughter says all praises due to Allah. Carl Murray, brother Carl says thank you very much. Ronald, I'm coming to your question. My sister Mimi, thank you for your commitment to our nation. We appreciate you and your family for your sacrifice. And thank you, brother Carl, again. Speaking of your family, sir, you posted a picture on Facebook of you and your wife. You all have been married ever since I was, known you all when I was young. What advice would you give to future husbands?
Well, you know what? I don't consider myself wise in that area like your father, man. I'm gonna ask him. Can I take a break and call him? No, man. All I can say is your word is supposed to be bond. And my marriage is unique because I didn't know my wife. You know how you see a woman and you like her and you want to talk to her? Well, that ain't the way our relationship began. My relationship began, I worked at Minister Farrakhan's personal residence on Damon, a street called Damon here in Chicago. And my wife, who is my wife now, worked a block past Damon in a photography studio. So unbeknown to me, she would be on the same buses and the same trains with me while I sold a final call. I used to sell my final call and preach to a captive audience on the buses and the train. So one day the bus driver got mad and wanted to put me off the bus. And so I checked the bus driver and let him know, because he had Jerry curls, right? I'm talking about them wet looking things, man.
Yes, sir.
And he told me I couldn't sell the final call on the bus, right? And I told him that if it wasn't for people like Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, Rosa Parks, your behind would be getting up getting your seat to white folks today. You definitely wouldn't be driving the bus. And you're going to tell me I can't sell the final call on this bus when you got a picture of Virginia Slims being advertised on the billboard behind your back. There's 21 known cancer-causing compounds in every cigarette alone, and then you emit 11 cancer-causing compounds in the atmosphere around your children, which exposes them to catching the same cancer the smoker is catching. But you telling me I can't sell the final call that'll unite my people. And so I started teaching on the white man is the devil, not knowing he was going to stop and get the police. The police or white policeman, he opened up the front door and he just put his foot on the first step and leaned in and said, would you come off the bus with me? I said, yeah, when I finished my point. No, when he stepped on the bus, I was teaching the white man is the devil. When he stepped on, I said, there he is, right there. Right? So as I was blazing him, the police came to the side door near the back of the bus and asked me to come off. And so I decided to get off. And as I was getting off, this sister was coming off, man, with determination behind me. And I said, sister, I don't think he's talking to you. I think he want me to get off the bus. She said, well, if they don't want you on this goddamn bus, they don't want me on it. That's Sister Cosetta. She became my wife.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got 7 children and 16 grandbabies.
Praise be to Allah.
So I just say, make your word bond. When you marry. Oh, I forgot one part, Josh.
Yes, sir.
When I said special, it was other sisters interested in me to the point where I went to pray to Allah about it. And I prayed to Allah to show me my wife in a way that I could not make a mistake. And the morning after the prayer, just before your eyes open up, just before they even open the flutter, it was like an electric sound. And saw the image of a sister with a white head Muslim MGT headpiece on, with a plain house dress. It was like yellow and green, and you could hear a lot of women's voices, but you couldn't see the other women. You could only see her, and her dress went down to mid-calf levels. And in my mind, I said, well, she's strong. But I didn't understand why she had on a plain house dress and MGT white headpiece.
Yes, sir.
But so everybody, I ain't gonna try to tell the whole thing. So put it like this: everybody I introduced her to, the first thing they said was, these was registered Muslims that I was introducing her to. Matter of fact, Frank DX, I think he in Detroit now. He was the one that escorted me to Cosetta's house. And as soon as he saw it, he said, "Man, she got eyes like a Muslim." And then I told Mother Khadijah we was getting married. Mother Khadijah say, "Oh no, brother, you're gonna have to bring that sister by here for us to examine her."
Yes,
I said, "I don't care what you say. I'm marrying this sister right here." And I brought her by, and soon as Mother Khadijah saw her, first thing out of her mouth was, "She got eyes like my daughter Iris." And so everybody, so when we walked in the house, Minister Farrakhan's mother was sitting in the living room. And as I came around the corner with Sister Cosetta, Minister Farrakhan's mother just opened her arms up for my wife to come to her, hugged her and kissed her. And I just confirmed for me. I said, I know this is the one, right? So that's how mine was like. I just say God made my wedding, and it ain't never been no reason for me to think about not being with my wife.
Praise be to Allah.
Just do right. That's all I can say. That's the best advice I can give. Make your word bond, and love. You can have love in your heart, but love grows like Allah evolves His creation. Experiences in life grows love, and what do you call it? Secure. That might not be the right word, but right now that's what came up in my mind. It secures you in your love with your mate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excellent. That's beautiful, sir. Thank you, sir. What was it? How has it been serving with the Supreme Captain Mustafa Farrakhan, sir? How has it been working with him, sir?
Well, I've been knowing Brother Mustafa ever since he told me I was his big brother at his personal house in 94. Well, anyway, it's on Damon in Chicago. But so he just always been a brother, man. We just always been brothers, and he'll tell you tales of how I'm the only man that he know that could whoop somebody and teach him at the same time. That's one of the favorite captains and different people, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So he was on the championship drill team, and we was in the basement of his house. And brother Mustafa, he just like me, we got sense of humor,
Yes, sir.
And so he was imitating Michael Jackson, and he did this spin move of Michael Jackson, and then crossed his feet and went all the way down to the floor and came up and started doing a high step. And when I saw it, I say, brother Mustafa, that wasn't his name at that time, but I say, brother Mustafa, I say, man, that's the step you gonna do on this drill routine. And so the step that he made famous going across the stage with his knee being raised up, it came from him clowning in the basement and me seeing the move and saying, oh man, you're gonna have to do that for the drill team. And the crowd went wild when Musti did that, man.
Yeah. Okay, that's a great.
But yeah, I like Mustafa. He's just a brother to me, man. Like we grew up together in Islam, really, even though I'm older than him.
Praise be to Allah. What advice would you give to future fathers, sir?
Don't be afraid to discipline your children. Don't be afraid to study them. And if you can, find out what you think profession or whatever their gift is and put it in them. But then, okay, I put it like this. If you think your son can play ball, don't just put him on a team and tell him he can play. Go to the practice with him. Go to the games that he playing. Record his games and things in life and support him all of the way. And don't let him come up with any excuses not to do what he said he want to do. I think we give our children too much freedom, and then they wind up making bad choices and becoming none of what they could have been if you had to just put them in something.
Excellent. Yes, sir. That's great advice. Brother Minister, one last question, and thank you all for watching this. And please, we're going to put this on YouTube so you all can see it. Please like and subscribe on Off the Record. Brother Minister, what do you want your legacy to be?
Wow. Yeah, I was a servant of Allah, and I loved serving my people. And that I believe that Allah appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the exalted Christ, Black God of the universe, and that Minister Farrakhan is his anointed servant, and Jesus in our midst. Way back in the days of the final call, Minister Farrakhan in the early 80s told me that everything that was due the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the future is going to come down on me. So I was already prepared because I had a spiritual vision, and I came to the minister at the final call and I said, you know, I don't want to get confused, Brother Farrakhan. I said, but you sure look like Jesus to me. And he didn't turn around and look at me. He just said, you're not confused, brother. So I just have been born and blessed never to have doubt. So that's my legacy, what I believe.
Praise be to Allah. Well, yes, sir. I want to thank you for coming on. This is an honor. I learned a lot. I know everyone who watched learned a lot. And I want to say that you may not know you. Ever since I was a child, you've had the same spirit and you've been very nice. And your children and your wife have shown us nothing but love and have always been authentic to us. So we love you for that, sir, for always just being good people and being kind believers, bro. We appreciate that, Brother Minister. Thank you, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. I love you and your family. I still call your father up to this day.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, may Allah bless you and thank you all for watching. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, Brother Joshua.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. The pleasure is mine.